Hey guys, welcome to Jack's Treasures. I already blew the intro on this one. I'm Brian. This is Tracy. Jack is our cat. She's right behind Tracy's head right there. This is our ongoing series of questions and answers where we try to tackle a question that has either been asked of us, that we have asked of certain people, or ones that may be just general questions about reselling and the such.
Today's topic is, where can you source that's not like thrift stores and yard sales and all those normal places? Where else can you source?
We've done sourcing videos before, but this one's a little bit different because we literally just got back from, well, not literally. We just got back this week.
A few days ago, we got back.
We got back from the Omaha Planes to Profit meetup, which was fantastic. And this whole topic came about because of that meetup.
Right.
Okay. Because of that meetup. And, we were literally thinking about it. And because everybody knows that sourcing is at yard sales, storage units, thrift stores, the bins, clearance racks, arbitrage, whatever it may be. But we discovered so many more possibilities for you to find places to source and to turn into very, very good profit. Very good profit.
The first idea is through networking, such as with meetups.
Yeah.
You can find places to source just by talking to others. I mean, I could see especially if we would have been local, just talking to people, hey, somebody's got a bunch of plush toys. They don't like selling plush toys. Maybe they would like to sell them to us and we could make some money off of it. They could make some money, clear out their thing, blah, 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 blah. Like, for instance, one thing I will think about where we were the seller, we met some folks on Whatnot that sell tools. And we, at that time, were in the process of moving and had an abundance of tools and hardware.
From storage units and things like that.
And they reached out to us because we had mentioned it, like, I think in a Whatnot or something.
I think we did it in one of our taco times.
Yeah.
They said that we got a bunch of tools.
Got to figure out what to do with the tools.
We might be doing a tool show.
And they reached out to us. They were like, hey, if you're ever looking to sell tools, we're buyers. And we contacted them, set up a meetup, and we wound up meeting them and selling them a whole truck full of tools.
You gotta give them a shout out, though.
That would be Lover Dogs, Dottie, and Vintage Thrifter Tracy, who we met on Whatnot.
My second favorite Tracy on the planet, okay, and my favorite Dottie on the planet completely, okay. If you guys have not ever watched one of her shows, their shows together, they are phenomenal. They are funny as all get out, and not only that, but they're really, really good sellers. Really, really good people, and just...
Their regular show is Monday night. I want to say it's at 6 p.m. on Whatnot.
Eastern time. They're in Tennessee.
Lover Dogs. LUVRDOGS.
Yeah,
Look them up.
They are really, really good. So during this meetup, we went around, we were talking to a lot of people, and that's how we found out about some of these resourcing ideas, such as this, one of the ones. Go to apartment complexes and talk to the managers. Because they have people who move out and they leave some of the stuff that's there. They have stuff that they have storage containers.
If you have any real estate agent friends, they often may have connections for people that are trying to get rid of stuff because they're needing to move. I mean, all sorts of ideas like that you're just going to find through networking. Yeah,
just talking to people, going to rental homes. Real estate companies do handle some rental homes, and when they evict the people, sometimes they have eviction companies that come in, and sometimes the people will just leave all of the stuff, and then they have to pay to have the stuff all cleaned out.
I have heard, now I've never done this, but if you are to hang around a university near the end of the semester, there's often a lot of really quality stuff being thrown in the dumpster or left on the side of the curb because the people are moving out, they're going back home, they don't have room for it. And that you can definitely find some inventory that way. Like I said, I've never personally done that, but I could see that working really well, especially if you were in a college town.
Yeah. How about businesses that are closing? Reach out and talk to them. A lot of them need to clear out the buildings that they're in, and they only have so much time to get it done. They don't want to, maybe they hired a real estate or an estate sale company. And that's another one, to talk to estate sale companies to do cleanouts.
I will say one of our best hauls along that line we got from when a real estate company was going out of business. It was like a real estate lawyer, I think, and we bought all of their teaching, their educational materials, because
Yeah.
people wanted the furniture, they wanted the
Great
decor,
story on this one too,
but
by the way. Okay.
we snuck in and we snagged all of the educational stuff, and we made bank.
Yeah, let's review this one.
Yeah.
Okay, we were upstairs and we had all of this. They had all of these papers and books and VHS and
DVD
cassettes
sets
and DVD sets was all still there, and it was late in the day.
Yeah.
And Tracy and I were talking, and I was telling Tracy, I said, "Well, we could do $200,
Yeah.
and we'll still make a ton of bank." Okay. And I said, who's in charge of the storage unit or the estate sale? We'd like to make a deal on all of the stuff that's upstairs. And they were excited about it. And so we were up there, and I said, well, how much for all of it? And I'm sitting here thinking in my head going, $200.
We're talking a load that filled the back of our old Jeep.
Twice.
So, yeah.
Twice. Okay. She goes, I don't know, $20? I'm like, I did not want to go, oh, hell yeah, here you go. No, I went, you know what?
He played it so cool. I am very proud of him. I'm very proud of him.
I said, you know what? All right, I'll do that. Because I had to, and not only that, they helped us carry all of these boxes downstairs. And at least one box, we made about $500 on one box. And there was about 20 boxes.
It's one of those things that I think it was definitely overlooked. They didn't think it had value because a lot of it was older.
Yeah.
But it was people that we were familiar with from having sold them before, and was like, we know that there's value there. And it was just kind of flying under the radar.
Yep. That's definitely one to take a look at. Like I said, businesses that are closing that are closing are one. I know. I words. All right. Birds. So definitely you want to look at things like that. Companies closing again, thrift stores that are closing. We just was talking to our friend, Damn Fine Stuff, Tom from Damn Fine Stuff, was telling me that they were just getting ready to move into one of the antique malls in Douglasville that had been there for years, and I do mean years, almost like 10 years. And they were getting ready to move in, and like the week before they moved in, the doors were shuttered. And the people had like 2 days to get all of their stuff out of there. And you could go in and help them out and, say, hey, I'll take all of your stuff out there for you, or whatever. You have a crew or things like that. So that's just, it's you're helping out somebody who's in a bad situation. When they're doing clean outs of apartments or even houses, when somebody passes away, the children may live on the other side of the country, whatever it may be, and you're just there to help them out to take these things off their hands. Otherwise, they have to pay one of the what is it? The U Junk or We Pick Up Junk or whatever it may be.
Yeah,
I forget what it is. It's on
1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Yeah, one of those, and they're expensive. Okay, they are very, very expensive. And I don't blame them.
That actually just reminded me of another potential idea. Now, I wouldn't be bothered by this. Some people might. If you know that there's a lot of storage units that are being purchased at a facility on one day, wouldn't hurt to kind of wander around the parking lot, throw out your business card. Hey, if you happen to find a bunch of video games or something, give me a call.
She's saying this because it happened. I did that. Okay.
And whatever your particular niche may be, hey, if you have some tools that you don't know what to do with, give me a call. And you could probably find some pretty good deals that way.
We got a whole storage unit.
We did. Basically,
the whole storage unit. The person who bought the storage unit wanted the furniture. I didn't want the furniture. He didn't want the he had to come back for the mattresses, and I told him, I said, well, I tell you what, you give me all of the boxes that are in there, I'll take the mattresses to the dump, because I had to go to the dump anyway. And we struck up a deal.
And I guarantee,
and it was a big unit.
If we're cleaning out a storage unit and someone comes up and says, hey, you got any appliances, furniture, anything like that, I will give you the best price you've ever heard in your life.
Yeah, most of the time
that's not what we want to sell. So if we could make a mutually beneficial deal, it would be amazing.
One of them is yard sales, but not during the yard sale. Go after the yard sales. To a community yard sale, and the community ends the yard sale at 4:00. Drive around the community at 4:30.
We weren't even necessarily doing that. We were still looking for yard sales. We found where a yard sale had closed down and they had all of their stuff put into a big box. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
We grabbed that box, put it in the back of our truck, took it home and sorted through it. And I remember us finding a couple of like $50 pieces just sitting there.
We drove to one yard sale and it said everything was free. They were done. It was like 1 o'clock.
We picked up some cool stuff there too.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I just sold those flippers for like $40.
And
so
I picked up several items that we traded in to a consignment store, which brings up our next point.
Non-thrift stores, but consignment stores.
Yes.
You can definitely thrift in consignment stores. One of the biggest ones for us is Plato's Closet.
Yes.
They have we went into Plato's Closet and they had graphic t-shirts at 90% off.
Yep.
They were basically a quarter or a dime. And I was like, we racked up. We probably filled the back of our truck with just graphic t-shirts and stuff like that.
Even in their non-clearance, if you know what you're looking for, you can find deals. We bought a hat there that he flipped for what, $60 or something? $78 that we paid $4 for. When I was at one recently, I was noticing their prices of Doc Martens, that there was a lot of meat left on the bone there. I didn't pull the trigger.
We're not a big shoe.
I could have dropped $30 on each of those and probably turned around and flipped them for $60, $70.
I know Kate Spade purses. I've seen them there, and they're reasonable. They're high, but they're reasonable.
We've bought Loungefly bags there before. So you can't make money on everything in the store, but there are options where there is meat on the bone.
Yeah. One of the big ones is community trash days. Drive around. People put stuff out there in boxes. They want to get rid of stuff.
We got a pinball machine that way once.
I did. And I got a pinball machine, sold it for $75 on Marketplace for parts. The things are it's not the most glamorous thing in the whole wide world, but
why not?
We were driving around the neighborhood. We weren't necessarily driving around on trash day because I don't know trash day all of these places. But we were just driving around this neighborhood. It was after a community yard sale. Again, after the community yard sale, we drive around and people, and even at community yard sales, during the yard sales, I'll let the people know that, yeah, I'm a reseller, and whatever you don't buy, I'll take it off your hands.
We have flipped from yard sale leftover to our own yard sale more than once with exercise equipment.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason is we live in a community right next to a high school that the cross country people run through our neighborhood. So there are always athletes around here. I can flip exercise equipment a lot better than
exercise
most people
bikes.
can.
Like, we literally, a week before our yard sale, found 2 of them for free, put them in the back of the truck, brought them to our yard sale, put them out, and they were the first 2 things to sell in our yard sale for $20 each.
And once again, is that glamorous? No, but did it buy us a steak? Yep.
We also, remember, we got the treadmill that way.
We did.
That was free, and that was during the yard sale.
That's doing things that everybody isn't willing to do. I mean, a lot of people aren't necessarily willing to cart around a exercise bike for $20.
Yeah. If you don't want to do that and you want to do more stuff at home, other online platforms. Source on Whatnot.
I regularly flip from eBay to Whatnot, which is kind of the opposite of what most people do, but the options are there, and a lot of people flip from Whatnot to eBay.
Yeah, Graham's. That's Graham's and Pop's Vintage. I know I shout them out on every dang video, but they're really good people and I love them to death.
Right.
But she sent me a picture of, I got this camera from you guys and sold it for $50. Yeah. And I said, that's awesome. That's great.
Apex Jeff does that as well.
Apex Jeff does it. And we don't actually mind it. We actually love it. Okay. Because it's one of those things where we made our money. Okay. And I don't necessarily want to test all of these things out and to do all of that. I'd rather just flip it real fast, go grab another thing, sell that. Flip it real fast and do that. I'm more of a volume seller than I am
I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this on the channel before, but I'll say it again. When my daughter was
young,
me? I do love you. When my daughter was very young and I was a single mother, and I made enough to keep us going by buying lots of things on eBay, splitting them up, and reselling it back on eBay. And I did not have to go sourcing in a garage sale, a thrift store, or anything because my daughter needed me full time at that point. So
Yeah. Talking with your friends. Let them know what you do. A lot of people don't have a clue when you talk to them that, oh yeah, I'm a reseller. I buy stuff at yard sales and then I turn around and sell it on eBay. And then you always get a lot of the same questions. What's the most expensive thing you ever did? What's the weirdest thing you ever did? All that other kind of
I'll
stuff.
think of 2 examples. My uncle gave us 3 giant trash bags of vintage clothing recently, which was a lot of fun to sort through and sell and everything. And my good friend that lives pretty close to us, she brings me a bag of stuff maybe once a month, just stuff that she's cleaning out. She's like, before I'm going to give it to Goodwill, let's see if you want it. I've made a ton of money off her, and she knows it. I mean, it's not like I'm trying to hide it from her. She knows that I'm going to flip that stuff on eBay, and she'd rather me have it than
or whatnot.
Goodwill. Yep.
Yeah, but they also are great sourcers for getting boxes. My family just they love to save boxes for me, and they say, oh, we got all of these boxes for you. And I say, okay, I'll come by and pick them up. Hey, do you want these clothes? Yeah,
We'll look.
we'll do something with it. Either we'll donate it or we'll take it. And that's one of the things too. They know that we go to the dump a lot. They know that I go to the thrift stores or the Goodwills a lot, or St. Vincent's.
That's a hard word.
Yeah, that's a hard word. But so they'll let me take it, and then I get to go through it, and the stuff that I don't want to deal with, I can go ahead and give to St. Vincent's at that time. So there's so many platforms out there for you that aren't going to garage sales, aren't going to the bins, aren't going to not even leaving your house. Not even leaving your house. Look at the newspaper.
I don't really like thrift stores. I really don't.
Not a lot of people do. I've watched a lot of videos of some of other YouTubers that they really have had a hard time with thrift stores. And as a matter of fact, Reseller Rabbit, who we met at the Omaha meetup, was saying that the thrift stores in his area suck. And he is a big time YouTuber and reseller. And he's actually the one who gave us a lot of these ideas, because he goes in when a company is closing, not clothing, closing, and he buys out the whole thing, and he buys out like Office Max, and things like that. So he's spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
But there are options,
but he
even
says,
if
like,
you're on
our thrift store sucks.
On a Jack's Treasures budget, there's still options for you.
Yeah, or below. Which I don't think you can get below our budget.
No.
We have a really bad budget. Okay, again, these are one other thing too. We failed to mention a bunch of stuff in our previous video that we did. I don't know, which one are you doing first? This one or the other one?
The other one.
Yeah, we forgot to mention about advertising, making cards, handing out business cards to help your YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel
all kinds
sucks.
of ideas.
But go ahead and give us a like, share, and subscribe. These are just our opinions. If you have anything that's different from our opinions, please let us know. Roman, we're missing some of your comments, my friend.
Hope you're doing well.
I hope you are feeling well and that everything is well with you.
Like, share, subscribe. Check out StopSoldierSuicide.org and
as always,
pet a cat.
Peace out from Jack's Treasures.